The story begins with a man shown preparing a drink, and it was revealed that he was the main character, Hikaru Jero. Shortly after, an old man was shown smoking. The old man stated that they had been in this business for at least 15 years and described it as extremely dirty, involving a lot of corruption. Despite that, they had always managed to survive, so he suggested that the occasion called for a celebration. At that moment, another man approached and informed the president that the drink was perfectly fine and contained no poison. Trusting him, the old man drank it. However, he suddenly began coughing up blood and collapsed, dying on the spot. Immediately, the guards present started accusing everyone, assuming that someone among them had poisoned the drink. Meanwhile, Hikaru Jero had already left the room without drawing attention. It was then revealed that he was the one responsible for the poisoning and worked as a professional poison assassin. In the next scene, Jero was seen returning home. On his way, he noticed a girl kissing someone, and while staring at them, he accidentally walked straight into a pole. The scene then shifted to Jero sitting with his sister, Akari Jero. She praised him, saying that what he had done was truly impressive, as killing someone in such a highly secured environment was no small feat. Jero responded calmly, saying that he had gotten used to it by now. However, Akari then asked him when he planned to get married. Jero replied that he had told her many times that he had no intention of marrying. He explained that his job made it impossible for him to live a normal life or interact with women. He also questioned whether any woman would agree to marry him if she found out that he belonged to a poison clan and made a living by killing people. Akari tried to reason with him, explaining that their grandmother wanted someone from their family to become the head of the poison clan and continue their lineage. Therefore, either he or she would have to get married. Jero pointed out that she herself had a girlfriend and asked how she planned to handle that. He concluded that perhaps the poison master's legacy would end with him. Despite her efforts to convince him, Jero insisted that he preferred living alone, as he believed no one could truly be happy with him. Just then, Jero received a message on his phone from someone known as the Bug Master. He went to meet him, and the Bug Master appeared quite disturbing, with insects crawling on his face and a damaged tongue. After talking for a while, the Bug Master revealed that he was going to get married. Jero was shocked and expressed his disbelief. The Bug Master explained that he had found a woman who accepted him as he was, which made him decide to marry her. Jero congratulated him and said he was happy for him. They continued talking for a while, and before leaving, the Bug Master assured Jero that their friendship would remain the same even after his marriage. Jero agreed. As the Bug Master was about to leave, Jero admitted that hearing about his marriage had made him somewhat curious about the idea of marriage himself. He clarified that he did not necessarily want to get married but wondered what it would feel like to have a partner who cared for him. The Bug Master smiled and left happily. Later, Jero was seen meeting a client, accompanied by two women. It became clear that the client had hired Jero to kill someone. The client introduced the target as a troublesome individual named Kinosaki, who was causing issues for him. He requested Jero to take care of the situation. Jero agreed. After the client left, Jero injected the target with poison and stepped back, telling them that they would die soon and should reveal any information they had. However, the target refused to speak and instead remarked that Jero resembled their first boyfriend. They asked for his name. Jero initially refused, questioning why it mattered. The target then revealed that everything they did was for their sick brother, whose treatment required money. They admitted to doing many questionable things to earn money. Hearing this, Jero began to feel conflicted and wondered why he was developing sympathy. He accused the target of trying to seduce him, but they denied it and again asked for his name. Eventually, after repeated insistence, Jero revealed his name. At that moment, Jero received a call from his sister, Akari. She informed him that she had decided to have a child to continue their clan's lineage since he refused to marry. Jero reacted angrily, asking if she had lost her mind and what would happen to her girlfriend. She responded that she would simply break up. Jero asked her to wait for 2 minutes and then turned to the target, suddenly proposing marriage. He offered to spare their life and take care of their brother's expenses if they agreed to marry him. The target initially appeared grateful but then abruptly changed their tone, mocking him. They called him foolish and made it clear that they would not marry him just because he asked. Meanwhile, the client and his associates observed the situation and questioned why Jero had not killed the target yet. The client reassured them, stating that Jero was a highly skilled poison master and that they should not doubt him. Back in the room, Jero admitted that he wanted to understand what love felt like. He described his desire to return home to someone who cared about him, asked about his day, and looked after him when he was unwell. The target mocked him again, pointing out that he did not love them and only wanted marriage to produce an heir. Jero admitted that this was true. The target then told him that he needed to learn about love first and refused his proposal, though they offered to help him find a suitable partner instead. With no other option, Jero agreed to spare their life in exchange for their help in finding a bride. They both agreed to the deal. Suddenly, the client returned and declared that he would kill both of them. Disappointed stated that Jero had not completed the job. He and his men opened fire. In response, Jero injected himself with a substance, causing his eyes to turn green. He put on a mask and disappeared instantly. Moments later, he reappeared and effortlessly defeated everyone using poison. The scene then showed all the enemies lying unconscious, having been poisoned by Jero. Afterward, Jero administered an antidote to Kinosaki and confirmed their agreement. He promised to take care of them and their brother, while they would help him find a bride. Jero then called Akari and told her that he had decided to get married, asking her to return to her girlfriend and not worry about the clan. Hearing this, Akari became emotional but agreed. In the following scene, Kinosaki asked Jero to help them stand, claiming they were too weak to walk. Jero hesitated, saying he had never touched a woman. Kinosaki then revealed that they were actually male. Jero was shocked and confused. Later, Kinosaki tried to prove it, causing Jero to panic and cover himself with a blanket. Refusing to look, Kinosaki teased him but reassured him that they would help him find a suitable partner. They began arranging multiple dates for Jero online. However, Jero failed every time due to his awkward and inappropriate behavior, which scared the women away. By the end of the day, he admitted that he had spoken to around 30 women, yet none had accepted him. He acknowledged that the fault lay with him but expressed determination to try again. As Kinosaki was leaving, Jero bid them goodbye. However, shortly after, they were kidnapped by a man who turned out to be the brother of the earlier client. The man accused Kinosaki of causing strange behavior in his brother and declared that he would kill them. Jero, who had been watching, followed the car. Just as the man was about to act, Jero appeared in front of the vehicle. He threw a strange liquid at the car, slicing it into two halves. He then rescued Kinosaki, while the attacker fell into the water below. Kinosaki thanked Jero for saving their life. Jero responded casually. Kinosaki then said they had finally understood his charm and asked him to save their number in his phone. The scene shifts with an explanation that individuals who perfected their killing techniques to the highest level were called masters. After many generations, they developed lethal abilities known as modified bloodlines. Hikaru Jero, being a poison master, was one of them. Soon after, Mei Kinosaki invited Jero to a cruise exhibition art event. Jero did not understand what was happening or how it related to his charm. When Mei arrived, everyone was stunned by his beauty. As soon as Mei touched Jero, he immediately flinched and asked him not to do that. Mei jokingly remarked that people would pay huge amounts of money just to hold his hand. They then entered the cruise. Mei pointed out that such places were often considered ideal for dates, and questioned why Jero had come there without one. He revealed that Jero was going to rehearse his first date, explaining that despite arranging multiple dates for him, Jero always ended up ruining them. Therefore, he needed practice. As they explored the exhibition, Mei asked Jero to compliment the paintings, but Jero struggled to understand what to say. Mei deducted points for his poor responses, while Jero secretly searched online for appropriate things to say. Mei told him that he should not try to impress artificially, as a date should be about both people being happy. Jero replied that it might be easy for Mei, but for him, it was even harder than his apprenticeship. While walking around, Jero noticed a 40-year-old candy packet priced at $200,000 and was even willing to pay 5 times more for it. Mei was shocked and quickly pulled him away. However, Mei felt happy that Jero had shown genuine interest in something and had expressed his thoughts. Later, Mei noticed Jero tilting his head while observing a painting. When asked, Jero explained that the painting looked better from that angle. Mei tried the same and agreed, appreciating the perspective. For the first time, he gave Jero positive points, and they continued exploring. Jero then asked Mei to explain what his charm actually was. Mei pointed out a painter nearby and his wife, explaining that despite the painter's strange behavior, people admired him because of his talent. He explained that many people were accepted not for their looks but for their abilities, and such talents could be just as attractive as personality or appearance. That, too, was a form of charm. Jero responded that he did not possess such charm. Mei reminded him of the time he had saved him, defeating everyone in a room alone, and said that this strength was part of his charm. He advised Jero to stop relying on matchmaking apps and instead focus on helping others, suggesting that rescuing someone or protecting a VIP could make someone fall for him. Jero questioned how that would work, as he was a poison master who killed people. Mei replied that there was no rule stating that a poison master could not save lives. Jero hesitated, saying it would feel like deception since he would be hiding his true profession. Mei explained that how a relationship started did not matter as much as whether it could grow into something genuine afterward. Meanwhile, a painting was stolen from the exhibition by a thief named Kyoko Himkawa. It was revealed that the ship's captain had obtained many artworks through unethical means. Himkawa was actually returning stolen art to its rightful owners. As she attempted to escape with her scarf, her companions waited for her at the shore. However, they were attacked by the water master, Shizuku Ashio. Back with Jero, Mei proposed an operation called White Knight, where Jero would rescue a girl in distress to win her her heart. Jero found the idea absurd and asked where he would even find such situations. Mei, busy eating, suggested using a special app where illegal jobs were posted, including rescue and bodyguard tasks. Jero explained that he usually received work through brokers due to his family's traditional methods. While eating, he came across a job request involving Himekawa's rescue. It was revealed that the ship's captain had captured her and demanded the return of the stolen items. Her companions explained that although she was known as a thief, she actually returned stolen art to its rightful owners. They wanted someone to rescue her but had very little money to offer. Despite this, they were even willing to sell their organs to save her. Only Mei and Jero accepted the request. Mei realized that this was a perfect opportunity for Jero, as he had no competition. When Mei introduced Jero as a poison master, everyone became terrified, knowing they could never afford his services. However, Himekawa's boss felt relieved, believing that they now had a chance to save her. Jero then asked a serious question that frightened everyone, making them think he would demand their organs. Instead, he simply asked whether Himekawa liked boys with glasses, leaving everyone, including Mei, shocked. Meanwhile, the ship's captain tried to persuade Himekawa to join his collection, offering her everything in exchange. She refused, stating that she had promised to return the stolen art to its rightful owners, including a painting belonging to a child's mother. The captain then ordered Ashio to break her spirit. At the same time, Jero and Mei arrived on the ship using GPS provided by her assistant. On their way, guards confronted them, but Jero easily took them down. Mei hesitated, saying he could not help much, but Jero insisted that he needed him, as he had no experience interacting with women. Mei agreed to guide him. Meanwhile, the captain realized intruders were on board and sent Ashio to eliminate them. As they advanced, Jero practiced proposing marriage, but Mei stopped him, explaining that he first needed to understand the other person's feelings and reduce her fear instead of talking about marriage. At that moment, the captain aimed his gun at Himekawa. She showed no fear until he pointed it at the painting she wanted to protect. Remembering her promise, she almost gave up. Suddenly, the captain's hand was severed by poison, causing him to panic. Under the influence of Jero's poison, he began hallucinating a ghost emerging from the painting. Jero then melted the door and entered, introducing himself to Himekawa as her rescuer. Mei believed this would lift her spirits. Himekawa questioned how her companions had managed to hire a master despite lacking money. Jero, unsure how to answer, looked at Mei for help. Mei entered and began freeing her, but Ashio appeared and captured her again. Jero injected poison into himself and attacked Ashio. Although she avoided his attacks, Jero managed to rescue Himekawa and handed her over to Mei. Ashio counterattacked, damaging the floor and injuring Jero. She then introduced herself as the water master, Shizuku Ashio, and proposed resolving the matter privately. She offered Jero 10 times his fee to walk away, arguing that professionals should prioritize business over emotions. Mei struggled to understand her reasoning, while Jero revealed that the poison he injected was deadly but enhanced his abilities due to his modified bloodline. Ashio explained that such techniques were survival strategies of masters, but Jero called it a curse that forced them to complete their missions before dying. Ashio claimed that her specialized suit could resist poison and extreme water pressure. However, from Jero's reaction, she realized he had no intention of accepting her deal and attacked him. Using his enhanced speed, Jero avoided her attacks and countered with a needle, damaging her suit. During the fight, he managed to break her mask, weakening her. Ashio questioned why he was risking his life in such a meaningless battle and asked if he was doing it for Himekawa out of love. Jero replied that he barely knew her, but she could become important someday. He then stated that Ashio would not understand his reasoning, as she considered him foolish. He emphasized that, unlike her belief, small things like having dinner with family were valuable to him, and he cherished them deeply. The scene shifts, showing that a family was going about its daily routine. Different families like this were presented to Jero and his cousins to help them understand human behavior. Apart from the art of killing, his family had also taught him about the lives of the people he would have to kill in the future. Those people lived on the other side of a one-way mirror, completely unaware of what was happening, and that place was referred to as the human zoo. At that moment, a man explained to Jero, while showing those families, that all their lives depended on fate. As the heir of the Poison Clan, it was Jero's duty to control those fates. When Ashio heard about Jero having dinner with his family, she laughed and remarked that if he kept thinking like that, startups would ruin him. Using her modified bloodline ability, she attacked Jero. He managed to evade her attacks, while Ashio explained that her skin could precisely control the motion of fluids. She then attacked Mei, injuring him. Kawa immediately rushed to check on Mei and questioned why they were doing all this. It was stated that this was their job, but for Jero, she was far more important than that. Ashio attacked Jero again, but he dodged once more. Meanwhile, Himekawa asked about the meaning behind Kawa and Mei's words, but Mei told her to run away, explaining that her safety was their top priority and she didn't need to worry about them. However, Himekawa refused to leave and asked how she could help. Mei glanced toward Jiro's syringe, which made Himikawa understand everything. At that point, Ashio was overpowering Jiro. He recalled that when Ashio had attacked him earlier, he had lost his needles and poison supply, and now he wasn't fast enough to dodge her attacks and get close to her. A flashback showed someone advising Jiro that if he ever had to fight another master, he shouldn't do it for less than 30 million yen. Even then, if he couldn't win, he shouldn't fight at all. Masters were never supposed to expose their modified bloodline arts, and if someone ever learned about them, Jiro would have to kill that person at any cost to protect the poison master's legacy. Back in the present, Ashio attacked again, and Jiro dodged. Suddenly, Himikawa jumped toward Jiro and told him she had brought something for him. When he questioned why she was still there, she explained that if she had thrown it from afar, the water master would have caught it, so she had to come close. When he asked why she hadn't run away, she responded that she hadn't come there to be saved like a little princess, and wanted to help instead. It was then shown that Himikawa had brought Jiro his syringe. However, Ashio caught her and mocked her, saying she had fallen into her hands again. Even though Jiro was trying to save her, she claimed Himikawa wasn't worth saving and taunted Jiro for risking his life for someone like her, stating that he was going to die pointlessly. Jiro sarcastically thanked Ashio for setting things up with Himikawa, saying he was glad she was his first. Ashio then noticed the syringe in Jiro's possession and threatened to kill Himikawa unless he dropped it. As soon as Jiro threw the syringe down, Ashio realized it was empty. In an instant, Jiro appeared behind her and placed a needle against her neck. This startled Ashio, causing her to lose control over the water, resulting in a sudden burst. Jiro commented that she truly understood her own abilities well and said he would call her next time he was in trouble. He then realized his hand had entered a no-test zone and admitted he hadn't wanted things to turn out this way but had no other choice. Soon after, Ashio began to feel as if she was burning, but Jiro saved her. He explained that the marks on her face were due to her allergy to clean air, which was why she filled her suit with water to prevent direct contact with air. He mentioned that he had read about it in the Poison Master's library and had created a cream to control her symptoms, advising her to use it. When Ashio questioned whether he was showing her mercy, Jiro denied it and said he was simply putting her in her place. He stated that defeating her and healing her wounds would teach her never to challenge him again, as it would bring her no benefit. Afterward, Himikawa retrieved the painting. Meanwhile, the ship captain was still under illusions and mistook Mei for the heroine of the painting, apologizing to him. Mei advised him to focus on his legal exhibits, and Jiro agreed, letting him go with a warning. Ashio remarked that Jiro was too soft, stating that a master would normally kill anyone who could become a future threat. Jiro replied that if the man ever crossed his path again, he would use the 1000 torments toxin, but even then, he wouldn't kill him just because someone else suggested it. Later, Mei asked Himikawa whether her decision was right. She reassured him that he didn't need to worry, as she wouldn't get caught again. She then invited them to come along with her. They were seen heading toward the shore with the help of Himikawa's shark, while both Mei and Jiro looked exhausted. Himikawa returned the painting of the girl's mother, making the girl extremely happy. Her companions became emotional and started crying. The girl's father explained that her mother had died after her birth, and although he could have sold the painting for a lot of money, he chose to keep it to hold the family together. Himikawa tried to video call Jiro so the girl could thank him, but he refused. Mei encouraged him to accept the praise. The girl thanked Jiro, and Himikawa admitted that when she first learned he was a master, she had assumed he was a terrible person, but he wasn't like that at all. Others agreed with her. Jiro was then thanked for helping fund an operation for someone's brother, which had been successful. The brother was now recovering and happily sending photos from the hospital. It was said that Jiro had risked his life, bringing genuine happiness to many people. Overwhelmed with emotion, Jiro excused himself to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Himikawa's group asked him what he wanted in return, admitting they didn't have money but were willing to offer anything. Hearing this, Jiro's mind went blank. Later, Jiro and Himikawa were seen outside a restaurant. Mei had arranged for them to celebrate together as Jiro's reward, but intentionally left so they could spend time alone, informing Jiro through a message. They arrived at Himikawa's favorite place, where everyone wore shark hats and danced to shark-themed songs. Jiro felt completely out of place. At one point, a person dressed as a shark playfully bit him and poured tomato sauce on him to make it look real. Meanwhile, Mei kept watching from afar to ensure the date mission succeeded. Jiro remembered first rule of dating, that if he couldn't find a topic, he should compliment something the girl was wearing. Jiro tried to follow this by asking about her necklace, but it turned out she had bought it from a flea market, ending the conversation awkwardly. He then asked if she had cut her hair, but she denied it, causing another failed attempt. Mei tried to guide him through gestures, but Jiro couldn't understand anything. Eventually, Himikawa took food from Jiro's plate and said she loved it, which made him nervous upon hearing the word love. Mei then intervened by attaching his phone to a screen to guide Jiro, though someone tried to stop stop him before he convinced them otherwise. When asked why he hadn't eaten, Jero explained that due to his training, he couldn't eat food prepared by others because it might be poisoned, so he always cooked for himself and ate alone. Himikawa shared her own past, explaining that she had grown up alone in an orphanage. A dying rich man had adopted her, possibly because he realized he had no one to carry on his legacy. She inherited his name and wealth but chose to return stolen artworks to their rightful owners, as she understood loneliness. Eventually, she lost everything and now worked part-time to survive. Jero told her it was an amazing story and admitted that when people had thanked him earlier, it was the first time he had experienced something like that. He said he couldn't have done it without her and praised her for always doing such things. Moved to tears, Himikawa assured him he hadn't said anything wrong and revealed that it was the first time someone had appreciated her for this work. Encouraged by Mei, Jero gathered his courage and asked if she would become his friend. This shocked both Himikawa and Mei, who thought he had missed his chance. Himikawa laughed and said she had thought he was going to ask her out. Jero admitted he wanted that too but felt they didn't know each other well enough yet. He explained that while he might have shown a good side of himself, he also had a dangerous side he couldn't face. He wanted them to experience more together first and understand each other better before proposing. He concluded that friendship was the first step toward a happy marriage. Himikawa agreed to become his friend but warned that winning her heart wouldn't be easy. When she asked if he and Mei were together, Jero clarified that Mei was just his marriage advisor. They exchanged contact information, and before leaving, Himikawa asked Jero to cook lunch for her someday since he couldn't eat food made by others. He shyly agreed. Later, Mei informed Jero about a new mission to become the bodyguard of a CEO's daughter. Jero objected, saying it felt like cheating, but Mei explained that they were only friends for now and that Jero should explore other options before deciding who was right for him. He added that whether it was Himikawa or someone else, he wanted Jero to have the best possible marriage. With that, the episode came to an end.